TPCSI fans, you want to revolutionize your sports investing habits? Allow me to tell you about WagerWire. WagerWire is an app that helps you become a superior bettor by allowing you to sync all your sports books and track all your bets in one place. See your current action, your betting history, and stats. You could also sign up for sports books and collect bonus offers. Follow them at WagerWire on X, as it's the best account on the platform. Head to App Store or Play Store now and search WagerWire and download the app.
2,000 years long, we will never settle. Hard days, no way, with a heavy metal. No time, no fail, won't stop here. Like a torch to a flame when it burns hot. We won't stop. Come on, take me higher. Like a torch to a flame when it burns hot. We won't stop.
Good morning, sports fans from all around the globe. I am the host, Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors, and it's that time of the week for three men in a box. Well, two men this week. Matt Grissom at Grissom on X at NCAA Insiders will be blessing us live from Texas, right? Somewhere in Texas, right, Matt? Talking some NCAA football, and my sea of red Nebraska Cornhuskers play tonight, looking to stay undefeated against the Illini. Shout out to Mr. Quentin Mills, who couldn't make it with us today. Enjoy your weekend, and hope to see you early next week as well. Shout out to our proud sponsor and partnerships. Of course, it's WagerWire. If you haven't downloaded the app by now, I don't know what else to tell you. Head on over to Google Play, download it. It's free. I promise you, Travis, Zach, myself, Amber, Jay, the rest of this team will take great, great care of you moving forward. Viva Tequila Seltzer. The East Coast is cuckoo for coconut. Head on over to where you buy adult beverages. Try one. If they don't have Viva, ask why. And, of course, Terry Smith, Atlanta Steak and Seafood. I got this care package yesterday, sent from Atlanta, Georgia, to Cape Cod, Massachusetts. And let me tell you, there was still dry ice in there. This thing was so rock solid. I had New York strip, filet mignon, lamb chops, two amazing hamburger, real beef. And that's just a start. So, Terry Smith, thank you so much. Head on over to Facebook. Follow Terry. And then while you're there, follow Atlanta Steak and Seafood. Introduce yourself. If you place an order today, you might be cooking on Sunday or Monday on that grill. And, of course, a shout-out to Mr. Elijah Cox. Can't do it without you, kid. Thank you so much for all your hard work and dedication. We thank you here. So, let's bring in the star of this show, the one and only Mr. Matt Grissom.
I'm from Arkansas, Jeff. You know this. Not Texas.
Listen, sometimes
I know
the
it's
host,
like all together down here.
sometimes the host says something to see if the guest is paying attention. I'll give you the rule of thumb when you go into a restaurant, okay? When you sit down and the waiter or waitress hands you a menu
Yeah.
and goes, "Would you like some water?" Always say yes, and then always add a lime or a lemon in that water. Okay? And when they bring it back, if you don't have a lemon or a lime in your water, that means they're not paying attention. They're probably going to screw up your order. Okay? So when I throw out a curveball, I know you're from Arkansas. I was just seeing if you were paying attention.
Always. You're the man of the show, not me.
You're the star. You are the star.
Well, not after last week. I appreciate you having us back. We didn't do too hot. Last week was pretty brutal, actually, but it's a new week. It's early. Collegefootballinsiders.com. We actually now have integrated all of our projections to be 2024 stats only. So really excited about that. It's got some pretty juicy matchups this weekend that we can get into, but I'm looking at following that system pretty closely this week, aligned with a lot of my bets.
And the website again, sir?
Collegefootballinsiders.com.
All right. There are some great games this week, but next week, obviously, there's some headliners. But take us back to last week. We're 4 weeks now into college football. What are your eyes seeing? I mean, in some of the polls, Georgia took a step back. Hard-fought 13-12 win at Kentucky. We had the team total over 10.5 on Kentucky. Didn't think they'd kick 4 field goals there, but that's for another story there. Texas, Ewers hurt. Manning, no problem there. Everyone's kind of hush-hush on Ohio State, yet they seem to be, every expert that I talk to, they're still like the 101A right now. How do you see it?
Yeah, I think you could really just take 1A and B and Texas and Ohio State. I think Georgia probably got their scare. I think they could lose to Ole Miss. I think it's more likely that they're going to run the table now. Kirby Smart knows that they played very, very poorly and still got out of there with a win. Oregon kind of got it together. They look a lot better. They were one of my favorite picks to make the college football playoff and to win it all. Dylan Gabriel, I've got a little ticket on him to win the Heisman. But I think what you're seeing more, and I guess it's just aligned with the fact that we have a larger playoff, is that you're going to have a lot more parity. You may not have to go 12-0 to make the college football playoff. In fact, you probably can go 10-2 and sneak in, especially if a lot of the other teams are 11-1, 10-2. So I think maybe it's going to be a little relaxing to the coaches down in the nitty-gritty to maybe not press as hard to go undefeated as much as just survive, stay in games, and obviously try to win, but more importantly, keep your guys healthy. Because thankfully for Texas, they have Arch Manning, who is able to step in. But if Quinn Ewers goes down, just like Jordan Travis did last year, the playoff committee may kick you out. So what's better, running your guy into the dirt, going 12-0, or going 11-1, getting your guy out of there if he's getting, hit too hard or whatever. So I don't know. That's just kind of something I'm going to keep in the back of my mind as the season progresses. But I think we have a lot of parity this year.
We have, the Oklahoma Sooners this week. I reached out to you, I think, in July. I know I reached out to Tyler Wyatt, at Tyler Wyatt Betts, about this game, and we're going to get into that as one of the premier games, obviously, this week. Kind of surprised Tennessee -7, which I think is an inflated number. There, a total that I said in July, first one to 35-37 wins this game. Well, the under-over opened at a 60, now down to like some 57s, 57.5s, and some shops. What surprised you more on this game? Tennessee being favored by a touchdown, or the total being, not in the 60s?
I think it's Tennessee. Like Oklahoma in the preseason market, I think they were laying 5. Now they're +7. And I know Oklahoma has struggled the last couple weeks. Jackson Arnold may not be all that he was cracked out to be. Meanwhile, Nico Iamaleava looks fantastic. I mean, he may be the best quarterback in the country. I like Tennessee here. What scares me is so does everybody else. I mean, 94% of the handles on Tennessee -7. They're betting it like they already know the final result. And I know Josh Heupel is going to come out and he's going to want to put up points. This will be the toughest defense that Nico has faced, though. And it's on the road. You pair all of that. I don't know. I'm not as confident as I was Sunday when the lines came out. I was sitting there and I thought, well, if I can get south of a touchdown on Tennessee, I'm taking it. And lo and behold, it got 6.5, jumped all over it. I don't know. I think this could be a little bit tighter of a game. Well, actually, I think it could go one of two ways. Either Oklahoma's going to be within a field goal all game long and probably end up covering, or Tennessee's just going to go up kind of like they did against NC State. They're going to go up so big at the half that it's going to be just unbettable at that point. You'd have to take Tennessee like minus 20.
Paul Stone said the same thing, and Ron Momilevsky said the same thing. It's going to be a matter of, does Oklahoma stay close? Because we all, like you said, 4.5, 5 was the look ahead line, and it's a 12-point swing here. And Tennessee reached out to Kent State at halftime and says, hey, do you want us to shut this down halfway through the fourth quarter? No, we're good. Okay. And this is a whole different ball game. I mean, Norman is going to be rocking the Sooner Schooner.
It is.
But
here's
now
the
you're going to give them seven.
So I think, honestly, you could be able to gauge how this game's going to go on Nico's first drive. Because if they march down, I know it's scripted, but if Tennessee, if they march down the field and score against Oklahoma's defense, I think you could live bet Tennessee right now. Name the number. Because the best opportunity that Oklahoma has to stay in this game is to keep the crowd in it and to show up on defense. And if you allow Tennessee to march right down the field on that opening drive, they're done. There's my hottest take. You can take what it's worth.
Alabama travels to Wisconsin, and they had played grab ass the week before, and we saw them 2 weeks prior play grab ass for 3.5 quarters to South Florida. Down 3-0. Coach DeBoer, Jalen Miro said, hold my beer, blink, and they put up a 42 spot. You buying stock A and B? What's that?
I said they almost covered that South Florida game.
They did.
Like
they did.
They almost covered. It's insane.
Are you buying stock in Bama? They're going to be hosting Georgia next week, and a lot of people think it's a pick 'em. Maybe Georgia -1, maybe Alabama -1 next weekend.
Yeah, I gave out Jalen Milroe to win the Heisman. I think I got it at 16-1 or 13-1. I can't remember, between him and Jackson Dart. And then I took their over, I think 10.5, and to make the college football playoff. Kalen DeBoer was the best hire that Alabama could have hired. It was a coach that had a lot of momentum. He just coached Michael Penix, and then you replace Penix with Milroe. I mean, you've got to assume that they're going to have a similar skill set. You know, Alabama's got the wide receivers in the talent like Washington had. I don't see why we aren't assuming Alabama is not just where they were with Nick Saban as a head coach, because right now I feel like they are an elite team, and if I can get plus points on Alabama against Georgia, I'll be on them.
Are you buying stock in BC? And we talked at length about this. And okay, let's replay the tapes here. 16.5-point underdogs at Florida State, which doesn't look as big, obviously, but it was a huge game there. They come back home, beat Duquesne 52-0. Couldn't wrap my head around the 15 points. Never in danger, really, of not covering. I thought Missouri played grab ass. I thought their All-American wide receiver got back-to-back personal fouls, grabs a mouthpiece. I mean, I don't think Missouri was engaged. It was almost like, yeah, okay, whatever. Yet BC comes home Saturday night here. The red bandana game sold out at the Heights, and they're 7-point favorites against Michigan State. Bill O'Brien has done an amazing job, and they too have a great quarterback with Castellanos. And if they don't turn the ball over, they're going to be in every game.
Yeah, actually, Jonathan Smith in Michigan State, I don't know enough about them. They played 2 really close games, and then they won 40-0 against like Prairie View A&M. I am on Michigan State plus 7.5 this weekend. I think Boston College is a solid team. I don't know. As far as the physicality, I'm curious to see how they match up against a Big Ten team because I think much like Missouri and Boston College last week, they're going to have the same sort of game with Michigan State. I could see this being a 27-21 type game where Michigan State gets the cover.
Are we singing taps on Florida State here? Lose at Georgia, lose in Dublin against Georgia Tech, lose to BC. Everyone that I had on last week was kind of surprised at the line against Memphis, lose outright. We were a year ago. Are they in or are they out? They played Georgia, they get lambasted, and yet is the coach on fire? Is that seat hot, or is it just one of these? It's been a bad 4 weeks.
Oh, I think Norvell's job's probably safe. I mean, there's a dozen other teams that would probably be a lateral move to Florida State that would go after him as a head coach if he came available. But I think part of the problem is the O line hasn't been healthy. DJ Ukulele, whatever. He has not been
Ukulele, I
sharp.
call him.
Yeah, Ukulele. He hasn't been sharp, and it's unfortunate for Florida State because you think, okay, we kind of got shafted last year, replaced Jordan Travis with a formidable transfer quarterback who put up decent numbers at Oregon State. Lo and behold, falls flat on his face in game 1, game 2, game 3, whatever. So fast forward to this whole Cal game now. I don't know what the look-ahead line was in this, if there even was one. But Florida State has got to be shaking right now. Not again. And I don't know if you would put Cal. I said it on our show yesterday, and Nick kind of made a face. Cal and Memphis, in my opinion, they're pretty comparable teams. Cal probably doesn't have as good of a quarterback, but, I mean, what's to say that the Florida State locker room is not in such a bad place that a solid Cal team could come in, Jaden Ott, running back. He had a bad game last week. I think he got hurt, actually, and he'll be back. I think they could run the ball in Florida State. It's going to be whether or not DJU can put up points. And as we've seen time and time again, if somebody tells you what they are, believe them. And I think he has told us that he's not ready to be the quarterback for the Florida State Seminoles and lead them to a win. So I'm on Cal plus 3.5 here.
One of the other premier games that takes place at the Big House. The last time we remember the Big House in the premier game, Texas came in and absolutely rolled Michigan. Kind of funny how we were talking Florida State woes, and now here's the defending champ woes as well. What do we remember about USC? Well, Labor Day weekend, beating LSU SEC. Now, I think the number's wrong. I think it's an overreaction here. I don't see, Caleb Williams there. Not that the quarterback is not good at USC. Not that Lincoln Riley's not going to find holes in this Michigan defense. But the sense of urgency in my eyes is on the Wolverines and the Big House. And I have this more as a pick 'em versus a laying the 5.5 here, Matt.
Yeah, so going back to the LSU game, I thought LSU came into the season a little overrated. I thought they were going to be a step back. If you remember, I gave out on your show USC plus the points. Like them. Our projections make USC minus 4.5. That's pretty in line with what it is. The look ahead, however, Michigan was minus 12. If you would have gotten that in the preseason, it's crazy, this line movement. But I think Michigan showed you what they are, and much like my sentiment earlier of if a team shows you what they are, believe them. Alex Orji's thrown 7 passes, and he's going to start against a USC defense that has been really good. They're 10th nationally in defensive EPA, 39% success rate, and stopping 80th ranked in the country. Michigan, the only thing that they can do well is run the ball. They've showed you that they can't pass. They can't even play defense that well. You let Arkansas State come back and get a backdoor cover in that game. Just embarrassing. They shouldn't even have been on the same field as Arkansas State in that game. Should have waxed them. It is what it is. 92% of the money, though, is on USC. I would lean USC. I don't have a bet in it. I just don't think this Michigan team's very good.
Tonight, a sea of red. The defense is back. They have a quarterback, Matt Rule, in his second year. Usually the third year is when he makes the big move. Seeing a lot of overnight money coming in on Illinois. Opened at 9 with a 44. Now at the circa. Good morning to Mr. Benson, Mr. Stevens. Down to 7.5 with a 42.5. Now, I like Nebraska in this spot. This is a spot, though, that they've usually laid an egg. But they have the quarterback, they have the fan base, they have the defense, they have the coach. Are you buying in on the Sea of Red tonight? 7.5-point favorites against the Illini.
I stayed off of it. The only thing I did was a pretty square parlay just to have some action on the Friday night games. I took Washington State, Nebraska, Syracuse, put them all three in a money line for plus 103. That's how I'm going to attack that. But I don't know. This is a tricky game. I've seen Brett Bielema up close. I've seen him just fall on his face. But I've also seen him have success, especially as a road dog. Dylan Raiola, as you mentioned, he is the real deal. I think that's probably the biggest difference in Matt Rule back when he was only winning in that third, fourth season at a place. Now you get the money, you pay the quarterback, and voila, you can win games. Even though the whole Patrick Mahomes cosplay thing is so weird. And then he's going to sit there and say that he doesn't do it intentionally. Okay, we all had heroes, dude. Anyways, Nebraska, I think, probably wins this game. If I was going to bet it, I would just take the home favorite in the first half because I think Illinois, especially the last number I saw was 8. That's if you could get it under a touchdown, I'd feel better about it. I could see this being a 24-17 type game, but I think it's probably going to be ugly, lower scoring, just a nasty Big Ten game.
We gave out Illinois team total under 16.5 plus 105. Do they get to 17 or better tonight?
I like that bet. Luke Altmaier actually played in this game last year. Let me look. Illinois lost in Champaign 20-7. Altmaier had 2 interceptions, I believe. But Illinois struggled to run the ball. They averaged 1.1 yards per carry. And there were a total of 5 turnovers. It was an ugly game by both teams. But Nebraska still won on the road. Now they've improved with Raiola. I think they win. It just is a matter of can they keep Illinois from getting a backdoor cover at the last second of a game.
Before we go to a commercial break and your picks for this week, I always got to get a temperature in the room with your Arkansas Razorbacks.
I think spirits are high. Our website actually makes Auburn a half-point favorite, so I got the 3.5 with the Hogs. Pittman's 12-3 against the spread on the road as a dog. Auburn, this game is always weird. It's either a blowout one way or the other, or it comes down to a one-score game. I think it's going to be the latter this Saturday. I like the Hogs. It's not a homer pick. You can look at all the advanced analytics. Taylon Green is, I think, second behind Jackson Dart in leading the SEC in passing yards. Jaquindon Jackson's running the ball really well. If he can just stay healthy, I swear the kid, he runs for 12 yards and then he goes and sits on the bench for 3 plays. That does worry me. I don't know what it is about playing at Utah. You had Cam Rising, all his health issues. Jaquindon Jackson played. Now he can't stay healthy. But anyways, all that being said, I think Auburn's going to be if Hunter Brown is going, I think he will over Peyton Thorne. He looked good last week, but I think me and you could look good against New Mexico. So I think it's going to be a tight game. If it keeps creeping down, I think it's 2.5. You could get a maybe money line on Auburn, and Arkansas plus 3.5 and get a good middle because I do think this one's going to be tight.
Well, I'll give you a Matt Grissom special for you. Your team total is only 27 here. I think the winner's going to have to get to 30 or 31 here, Matt.
I don't know. I think Arkansas's defense is going to respond well. We got kind of embarrassed last week against UAB. Trent Dilfer's squad looked good. They ran the ball on us, which Ollie Gordon couldn't run the ball on us. So I'm really surprised that UAB had so much success. So I think Travis Williams is going to have the guys ready. The defense is going to be much more alive, and I think we'll be able to slow down Jaquez Hunter for Auburn. And then, like I said, if it's Brown going in place of Thorne, I think we'll be able to keep this lower scoring. I think Hogs either win or lose 27-24. So that's right in line with the team total. I probably wouldn't touch it.
Elijah, let's go to a quick break, and when we come back, Mr. Matt Grissom's Viva 4-pack, or we're going to go for a 6-slab, whatever Matt's got up his sleeve.
Look what came in.
There it is. There's the Viva. There it is, the Viva 4-pack. Hey, how is it, Matt?
I'm still drinking the Alani from this morning, but it's good. I really like the flavor of it. He did a good job with it.
All right, so let's go to Viva, Elijah.
2,000 years long, we will never settle. Hard days, no way, with a heavy metal. No time, no fail, won't stop here. Like a torch to a flame when it burns hot. We won't stop, come on, take me higher. Like a torch to a flame when it burns hot. We won't stop.
Now, I know Quentin Mills, that's Quentin Millie, that's 3 L's, 2 Y's, at Q Millie on Twitter, is not here physically, but he is here spiritually. He sent me the email with the Q Millie picks. I'm going to read them verbally for week 4. Q Millie, Texas Tech, -2.5, -133. West Virginia, money line, -135. Cal, +3.5, -136. Oregon State, -5, -105. And tonight he's got Nebraska, -7, -137. Go follow Quentin Mills at Q Millie. That's Q Millie, 3 L's, 2 Y's. Matt Grissom, the board is yours, my brother.
All right, I'm on Arkansas +3.5. I also got him +4.5, paid -130 for that number. Like I said, I think the Hogs keep it close. Sam Pittman's incredibly good on the road against the spread as a dog. Tennessee -6.5. I'm going to keep betting them until they prove to me that they are overhyped. Mississippi State +7.5. One of my favorite bets. Look, I lived through the Chad Morris era at Arkansas. I know a toxic locker room. Florida's got it going on right now. Billy Napier has one foot out the door. If he loses this one, the players are probably going to shove him out. I know Toledo just waxed Mississippi State, but what better way for Jeff Lebby to bounce back than to have Blake Shapen go off? Florida ranks 101st in pass defense success rate. I think Shapen could have a pretty decent game. Give me the Bulldogs +7.5 and the Cowbells. Arizona State +3.5. Me and Q are Oppo. Kenny Dillingham's 5-0 against the spread as a road dog. Give me the Sun Devils. Cam Scatterbo is going to be able to run over that Texas Tech defense. Everybody's looking at that offense like, wow, guess what? Arizona State, pretty good running the ball and staying in games as well. Michigan State, I talked about it earlier, +7.5. This is just a gut pick for me. I think it's going to be a close game like Boston College played against Mizzou. they would have covered the 7.5. 27-21 was that final. I think it's very similar here. I've got Cal plus 3.5. Talked about that. I'm going to keep fading Florida State until it loses. And then, like Q, I'm also on West Virginia money line. I just think that they have been a little more battle tested. I think West Virginia can get this win.
Scroll has been going the whole time, but this is how we end with that little 7-yard button hook. You catch it, and the stage is yours. Tell everyone where they can find your fine work. And, of course, make sure you give out that website, sir.
Yeah, follow me at Grissom on X. Pretty self-explanatory there. Collegefootballinsiders.com. Sometimes you have to put the www in front of it. Not real sure. We have gotten a partnership going with Parker Fleming of College Football Graphs and our website designer that if you followed us through the baseball season, we did all the advanced analytics there. Nick Dimmitt, he's been awesome. Those two have partnered up together, and we have brought you a fantastic website that shows all of the advanced analytics for football teams. You can check it out, again, collegefootballinsiders.com. It's got projections as to who should win using all the advanced stats. And for Q and myself, you can follow us at NCAA Insiders on X.
Love to end the week with you guys as well. It gives me a refreshing taste going into the weekend, hearing you guys' thought. I'm on your website 24/7. I started there in college baseball, and it's a breath of fresh air to bring it into football. Maybe somewhere down the line, we're going to need someone's going to reach out to you and say, okay, well, you do it for baseball, you do it for football, when you're doing it for basketball, right, Matt?
Yep, that's the plan, is to have something for baseball as well, or basketball.
Well, we'll be doing a lot of Razorbacks talk coming up on November 1st. Highlight that calendar, the start of college basketball. I heard there's a team in stores called the Yukon Huskies going for that three-peat, which we'll be doing a lot of talking about. How's that sound, Matt?
That sounds good. Arkansas scheduled a exhibition game against Kansas. That'll be fun. You know, we had the one against Purdue last year. What's up, Marty Lowe?
Roll Tide, Marty. From myself, Jeff Dawson at EC Sports Investor, one and only Matt Grissom at Grissom on X, of course, Elijah Cox. Amazing work as always. We can't thank you enough. To our sponsors, WagerWire, Viva Tequila Seltzer. Of course, Matt's got the cuckoo for coconuts. A little early, as he said. He's still working on something else, but it's 5 o'clock somewhere in the world. There you go, Matt. And, of course, Terry Smith and Atlanta Steak and Seafood. At 6:15 tonight, Scotty Webb in the batter's box to get you ready for the MLB. That'll be a wrap for us here at ECSI in the studio. We can't thank you enough. Remember, guys, the weekend is here. Okay, we're only in week 4 of college football, week 3 of the NFL. It's not even October yet. We're not even in the true pumpkin spice time yet. And before you know it, we'll be hearing Mariah Carey and Deck the Halls and all that other happy horse shit. Until then, be safe, stay in your lanes, and see you.